Hey all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Pacific Rim Uprising Robot Spirits Jaeger Gipsy Avenger figure from Tamashii Nations and Bandai. Now this figure comes packaged in a window box. You've got the figure clearly displayed. Up at the top you've got the Pacific Rim movie logo. Then you've got some images of the character on the front, the name and everything. On one side you've just got the Gipsy Avenger name. On the other side you've got an image of the figure. And then on the back of the packaging you have more images of the figure showing off the various accessories and everything. And then a bunch of writing I really can't read. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now first of all, you do get an instruction sheet with this that shows you how to work all the accessories and everything. And because this figure is being released both here in the United States and overseas, the instructions are done in multiple languages. Now for accessories, you get two different pairs of hands. You get a pair of closed-fisted hands and then a pair of open hands. Switching out the hands on this figure is easy. You just pop off the hand you want to replace and you've got the little ball peg on the arm and the hole in the hand, and then you just take the hand you want to replace it with and pop it on there. It should fit on there pretty easily and does fit nice and tight. The figure also comes with these wing pieces that you can attach to the figure's back. Now you want to make sure that these wider portions are facing upward, and then you actually want this portion to be pointing in towards the head. You've got two pegs on each of the pieces, and then you've got two holes on each side of the figure. So you want to make sure you line up the pegs with the holes, and then you just push in and they will fit nice and tight. And again, these are basically supposed to be wings, I guess, to help the Jaeger fly. And then finally the figure comes with two additional arm pieces for weapons, so you can exchange these out. You've got the chainsaw blade like you saw in the first movie, and then he's got this what they call a gravity sling. So how this works is basically what you want to do is you take the arm and you grab it, the lower arm, and you just pull out. It attaches with a little peg, and then you can plug in this piece. You've got the hole that it's shaped, so you want to match up with the actual peg, and then you just push in. Now with the blade you can then attach one of the hands, either the closed fist or the open hand, so it's made to look like he's extended that out. Now with the sling, the gravity sling, with that one, again you just take the lower arm and you pull out, but then you just plug this piece. Now this piece you don't attach the hand additionally to it. It's the hand, this basically replaces the hand. So you again match up the peg with this one, and then you just push in, and it should fit there nice and tight. And here's a look at the figure with both weapon arms attached to the figure. Okay, so for the figure itself, now the figure does have a pretty good weight to it. It is made with plastic, not die-cast metal or anything. The figure is only going to cost about $20, and it is sold here in the United States. I've seen it at places like Toys R Us and also at Barnes & Noble. And again, these figures only cost about $20. Now I like the sculpting detail overall. I like how they've used this gold metallic paint for the eyes. It picks up the eyes nicely when you get it in the light. And then I like the sculpting detail on the head. I think that looks pretty movie accurate. And you've got the red stripings here on the top. And then the rest of the figure primarily uses this kind of metallic blue color. And then you've got some metallic silver mixed in, like here on the chest, and you've got the red markings throughout, again here on the shoulder pads. These shoulder pads are articulated, and you can actually pop off if you want to, and if they do pop off you can just pop them back on, so not a big deal. You've got this arc reactor or whatever you call it here on the chest, which is done with translucent orange plastic, and I think that looks pretty good. And again, you've got this metallic silver here on the chest and down here on the rib cage. And then I like also how here on the legs you have the silver plastic on the innards there, and then you've got the metallic blue on the actual leg, and then you've got some paint detail with the numberings on the legs, and again up here on the shoulder pads with the insignias. So I think that's pretty movie accurate. And again here on the chest you've got the numbering, and then you've got the red markings throughout as well. On the legs it's primarily just that metallic blue, and then you've got some gray here on the lower leg, and then also with like the knee joints you've got the gray plastic, so I like that. Gives it added dimension and everything. So overall I think they've done a pretty good job with the sculpting and paint applications, so it does look pretty movie accurate. So this figure stands just about 7 inches tall. Now, I don't have any of the older 7-inch NECA figures that were done for the first movie to give you a comparison of those, but here is a look at one of NECA's Godzilla figures in the 7-inch scale. And definitely I think it would be a cool crossover if one day we saw Pacific Rim versus Godzilla. I know there was a rumor about that at some point, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but definitely it would be cool if it did. And while not to true scale, obviously, here's a comparison with the Hasbro 3 3/4 inch Finn figure from Force Awakens. Now, while Finn himself is not in the Pacific Rim Uprising movie, the actor who plays Finn will be. Okay, so for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right, and he can look down about that much. Really can't look up at all, though. Can only look straight ahead. And then you can pivot to the left and the right, and you get some movement with the actual neck itself, so you can get some back and forth movement. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Now with the arms, as I mentioned before, you've got these shoulder pads, so the arms themselves just attach with these ball joints, and when you start moving the arm around, you might have it pop off, but it will just pop back on. Same with the shoulder pads. So with the shoulder pads attached, you can only get the arm out about that much. Now if you take the shoulder pad off, then you can definitely get more movement there at the shoulder. You can get the arm all the way out, and you can rotate around with really no problem. You also get a bicep swivel up high there. So again, and then with these joints, you've got this double ball peg system, so you get some movement on here towards the body and then out here towards the arm. So, you get some movement, back and forth movement there, and up and down movement. Again, with the shoulder pad attached, it does limit some of that movement, though. You also get rotation, so you get basically a rotation there, as I mentioned, kind of a bicep swivel. You get a rotation where it actually attaches to the body, and then you get the actual bicep swivel. Now, again, you have the lower arms that kind of attach there, so you can switch out the pieces, and those might pop off when you're, posing the figure around, but they do pop back on, and then you can bend the elbow pretty good. It's a double hinge type elbow, so you get definitely pretty good movement there with the elbow. And then with the wrist, they're attached with those ball pegs, so you get rotation, and you get some up and down movement or back and forth movement. There is no articulation with the actual blade when you have the bladed arm attached, so that is one piece, and there's no movement with the actual blade there. Now with the midsection, you get a rotation there, and you can pivot to the left and the right, attaches with a ball type joint. Really can't crunch forward though with the way it's sculpted. You get a little back movement, but not a whole lot. You can pivot to the left and right a bit there. Now you don't get you get a little bit of a waist swivel, not what I would call a true waist swivel, but you get a little bit of rocking motion there. And then with the legs, again, it's kind of the same with the shoulders, so you can get the arms or you can get the legs. They can do the splits about that much, and then you can kind of pull it out, so you get some extra movement there, and you get rotation up high there, and you do get a thigh type swivel, so you get pretty good leg movement. Can get the leg forward and up high good, and can do the leg back really good. So overall good leg movement there. And then with the knees, you get a double hinge type knee, so good bending there at the knee. You don't get rotation of any kind at the knee though. And then with the feet, you get some back and forth movement. You get a little pivot, but not a whole lot with the way the armor is sculpted. And then that's basically it. There's no toe articulation or anything like that, and no peg holes on the bottom. One final thing I want to note about the figure: while there is no flight stand that's included with the figure, they have given you a place if you own like an Act 5 flight stand from Tamashii Nations. You can remove this back piece on his butt here. You just pull it off, and then it reveals a little hole there. And then if you got the flight stand, you can basically just plug it in there, so you can get him in flight poses or jumping poses or what have you. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I think this is a pretty good figure. Now, I don't have the older NECA figures to give you a comparison with those, so I can't really say, which one is better. But I do like the overall paint applications. I think the articulation is decent, and I like the accessories. The one downside is when you do pose the figure around a lot, you'll probably have pieces that'll pop off pretty easily, so that can be a little bit of a pain, but they will pop right back on. You don't really have to worry about breakage or anything like that. And again, this is only a $20 figure, so it's not like it's a really super high-end expensive figure. You can get it at places like Barnes & Noble, and also Big Bad Toy Store is carrying these figures. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. You can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch accounts. I have links to all of those in the video description below. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.